They said even the crows went silent that day. August 23rd, 1305, the day England decided to make an example of William Wallace. He wasn't just a rebel. To the Scots, he was freedom itself. To the English crown, he was a traitor who dared defy King Edward I, the Hammer of the Scots. And for that, his death would be unlike anything England had ever seen. Wallace had been betrayed, dragged from Scotland in chains, and paraded through the streets of London. Crowds lined the roads, jeering, throwing filth, as the once mighty warrior stumbled behind a horse. He wore no armor now, just rags and defiance. His face, bruised and bloodied, still burned with the same fire that had led men to follow him into battle. When he reached Smithfield, the execution ground, the air was thick with the smell of smoke and fear. A wooden scaffold waited, not to hang him cleanly, but to break him slowly. The royal sentence was clear. He would be hanged, drawn, and quartered, the most brutal punishment ever devised for a traitor. First, they hanged him until he was half dead, long enough for him to feel the rope bite into his throat, but not long enough for mercy. Then they cut him down, gasping, his body shaking in agony. The crowd fell silent. What came next was worse. They stripped him naked. The executioner sliced open his stomach and pulled out his intestines, one coil at a time, burning them before his eyes as he screamed. They wanted him to see everything, to know that his rebellion would die with him. But he didn't beg. He didn't cry for mercy. Even as the life drained from him, witnesses said he looked to the sky and whispered a prayer for Scotland. His heart was torn from his chest, and only then did the great William Wallace fall still. His body was cut into 4 pieces, each sent to a different city as a warning. His head was dipped in tar and mounted on London Bridge. For weeks, it stared down at those who passed beneath, eyes dark and empty, but somehow still defiant. Yet, the message England tried to send that day backfired, because instead of fear, Wallace's death sparked fury. His name became legend. His blood became Scotland's battle cry. And more than 7 centuries later, the world still remembers him. Not as a traitor, not as a rebel, but as a man who refused to kneel, even in the face of one of the most horrifying executions in history. They could tear his body apart, but they could never kill what he stood for.